First things first, if you can let us know what all happened and how it played out.
Okay, so as of what happened, a nice gentleman came into our store. He purchased some groceries, about $20 to $30 worth. Upon leaving the store at Walmart, he had a diabetic episode, ended up passing out or collapsing of some sort in the parking lot. EMS came to render him aid, and upon rendering him aid, his groceries, I guess, were left unattended and they were stolen by somebody, unfortunately. After receiving glucose and some orange juice from the EMS and getting his levels back up to normal, he was able to function. He came back into the store and was kind of trying to figure out what he could do. At that time, he kind of told me what had happened, and I offered to buy his groceries to get him some food because he was diabetic, and I know that he needed to eat.
Why do something like that for an individual?
Well, one, my biological father has type 1 diabetes, so I can kind of relate. I've helped my father several times when he's been out of the hospital with DKA. So I understand how bad diabetes can be, and also my great-grandmother suffered it, so quite a few people in my family. And I just didn't want to see that young man suffering. He obviously wasn't having a great day. He wasn't feeling good. And, that's part of also my job is to care about people and to help people. I'm not just here to arrest people. I do care about this community. So.
I guess his response to getting that help, what was that like? How did he react?
It was very heartwarming, I should say. That was the best appreciation, gratitude that I could have received. And so, this is overwhelming, but just his reaction to me was more than anything.
Were you working inside of the Walmart? Was that kind of your beat that night?
No, sir. I wasn't on duty. I was actually working off as an extra job officer there. So basically, my lieutenant behind me coordinates extra jobs there, and we fill in when we can. And I was filling in for another officer that night whenever I was working, and I saw what had happened.
And when did this happen again?
It happened yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, yes, sir. Between approximately about 5 to 5:30, something like that.
So were you aware that there was a medical emergency outside the store? Did you respond to that, or did you just notice something happened?
No, I noticed the ambulance leaving the parking lot, and I noticed the man kind of coming back inside, and I noticed his the bandage on his arm. And so then I asked him about what had happened, and I could tell that he was kind of still groggy. So that's upon me asking, hey, what's going on? Because I wanted to make sure that the ambulance didn't leave too soon. If he still needed medical attention, I wanted to make sure he got that medical attention because I didn't want him passing out again. And then when he told me the situation, he was telling me he was starting to feel a little bit better from the glucose and the orange juice that they gave him. And then that's whenever we were able to walk around the store, get the food, and then purchase it for him. And we'll help him.
You walked around the store with them?
I walked around in front of the cash registers. I didn't walk around the whole store. Unfortunately, part of my job is to kind of stay at the front doors because a lot of times certain things happen that I have to respond to. That's part of my job as an extra officer there.
So how'd that conversation go? What did he have purchased and how much did he get?
I purchased about $25 worth. He asked for some vegetables, some lettuce, some oatmeal, some medication. I forget what exactly it was, and some other just essential items, something that a diabetic would eat in order to keep a healthy diet without raising their sugar too low, but maintaining it at a decent level. Basically, he just told me his story. Like I said, exactly what had happened in the parking lot, that, he was upset that somebody stole his groceries. And, like I told him, I said, that's horrible. And that I don't, that they were in the process of looking at the cameras and all that, but they weren't able to see very much at the time. I know that they had some obstruction views. I know that is still being looked at as far as I know. But that, what could we do to further, help him? And he said he really didn't have much money left. He was on a low income. And I said, okay, well then let's go get you something. I said, it's food. You're not stealing, you're not doing something else. You're just simply just trying to get some food to help with your diabetes. So.
Did you ever think twice to jump into action or serve in that capacity? Because officers obviously serve every day, but in that specific capacity, have you reaching into your own pockets to pay for this? Did you ever think twice about that?
No, I would do it again in a heartbeat. Not for publicity, but just for the sake. We're all humans. There's one point that me and my husband were scraping through couches to make ends meet for my kids. To buy formula, to do something. And at one point I had a helping hand from somebody, and I just wanted to pay it forward. To me that matters.
And I think when it comes to, you mentioned your family ties to I guess diabetes. How important is it for someone to extend a helping hand in situations like that when it's out of your control, you pass out, you can't control someone coming by, and taking your food or your groceries. Anything you want the community to know about acts of kindness and simple things they can do?
The one thing that I would say is if you see somebody being mistreated or somebody being taken advantage of, say something. You know, don't just stand there and watch it or videotape it. Unfortunately, a lot of people nowadays just like to videotape and not actually do anything about it. And I think that's wrong. I think, you know, if you have to treat people like if they were your own family. If that was somebody else's dad and they were sitting there, they wouldn't let their dad get robbed, or not robbed, but stolen from. They would be like, no, don't take his food. You know, so same thing. Why don't you treat someone like you want to be treated, like how you would treat your own family?
Any idea on the age of this gentleman at all?
He had to be in his 50s or 60s. But I can't tell exactly how old. Unfortunately, diabetes sometimes actually ages people further than their age.
And economically, did he have means to buy more food, or was he just out of money and was looking for help as to how to acquire some of these things back?
From my kind of looking at him and from what I could gather, I don't think he could afford anymore. It looked like he was on a rather fixed budget. He had, like I said, it was just a regular plain clothes. There was nothing fancy. You know, he ended up, from what I understood, he actually rode the train there. So it's not like he had a car or anything like that. So from what I gathered and kind of just speaking with him the little bit that I did and kind of getting from his stories, no, I don't think he could have bought it himself.
Have you spoken to him since at all?
No, sir, I have not. I know that he did thank me upon leaving, but no, sir, I have not spoken to him since. I graduated the academy in March of 2017.
Have you ever done something like this before?
I've done several things, but to me, they're not big. To me, it's just helping somebody out. If I see somebody that I can do or something that I can do and not gonna, you know, render my family, then I'll do it, you know.
Any other questions? Officer, thank you very much.
Right, thank you.